Okay, good morning. Let's go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody to this Infowise Ultimate Forms webinar. Today we are going to be talking about impactful visualization using Infowise charts. And let me just start by introducing myself. I am your host. My name is Phil Gold. I am a longtime communications and training professional. I worked at, I'm not going to say the name, but it's a global Fortune 500 company that makes shoes and is located in Portland, Oregon. I worked for them for about 15 years as global training manager and left them. Oh, I said the name. All right. So I was at Nike. Um, while I was at Nike, I was training people in how to use SharePoint. I started working with SharePoint back in 2003 and started using Infowise Ultimate Forms for SharePoint at Nike about 6 years ago. Um, we found it to be a very useful tool, gave us a lot of great functionality, and it's just been one of those things that has helped me quite a bit. Now, I am not a coder. I am not a developer. I am a super user at best. And the Infowise suite of tools are geared for people like me, normal people who don't want to write code, don't know how to write code well. And Infowise provides us the technology where we don't have to do that. It's a very, very easy to use and very feature-rich set of tools. When I left Nike back in 2017, I started writing courses for LinkedIn Learning, lynda.com. And one of the classes that I wrote was a class using Infowise for SharePoint. Well, the guys from Infowise saw that and they liked it. They were really happy. And they asked me if I would be willing to work with them to help show their product to other people and help with their tutorials and their other training issues. I said, yes, absolutely. Because it's a product that I believe in. It's a product that I have a lot of faith in. So today, we're going to have some ground rules going forward. I'm going to ask you, please, to use the chat to ask questions. We have some other members of the Infowise team who are standing by. They will be answering your questions. I find it real difficult to look back and forth, so I'll probably not be answering your questions. But people are here to help. We will have a bit of a Q&A at the end of the presentation if there's time. The presentation itself will probably last roughly a half an hour, so we should have a little time for questions. I am recording this right now, and the recording will be posted to YouTube, so you can go back and reference it later. And we have a contest. There is going to be a free giveaway. We are going to be giving away an Infowise polo shirt at the end of the show. I have to apologize. This is only available to people in the United States because we can't ship out of the country. But everyone who's in the U.S. will get a chance to participate in that contest. So stay tuned for that. Now, the setup for this, if you've been using SharePoint, your experience is probably the same as mine and everybody else's. SharePoint has great features, great functionality, and it also has gaps and odd things that are missing or don't provide the kind of experience that you would expect. One of those gaps is in creating visuals like graphs or charts. Out of the box, SharePoint doesn't do that. You have the ability to export information from lists and libraries out to other tools. You can export out to Power BI, you can export out to Tableau, but getting those images back into SharePoint is complicated. Even using a tool like Power Pivot and Power View in Excel, your information isn't in SharePoint, it's in Excel, and then you kind of port it back over. The other way, of course, is you can take pictures and stick the pictures in, but those don't really interact with people. They're static, and you have to go and change them periodically, which is a bit of a bother. Now, the modern experience, SharePoint Modern Experience, does have some limited charting availability. There is a chart app that you can put on a modern page, but even that is not tied to a SharePoint list or library. You have to manually enter the data for your chart, and your choices are a bar chart or a pie chart. End of story. So not really great options there. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. With Infowise Ultimate Forms, we do, in fact, have the ability to create charts and graphs and put them directly into the Infowise or your SharePoint site. I'm going to move this over. Got to get rid of that little bar there so I can see. Now, this is a page in SharePoint, and I have created some charts from some list information, and these are directly out of the list. The charts are all created in Infowise, and doing this is very simple. I actually want to start by showing you. We're not going to dive really deep into creating a whole bunch of charts today. I really want to familiarize you with the concepts and show you some of the options that you have today. But you ought to know how to put a chart into a page. And so we've got a blank web part page here. We're going to add a web part. Now, for those of you who have been using Infowise for a while, you might remember this here, Infowise Smart Chart Pro. This is actually the old way of doing this. We don't want to use that. What we want to use is we want to scroll down here. If you have added the support for the modern experience, especially, you want to do this. You want to pick Infowise there and Infowise chart here, and then add that part. Now, it'll go in as just a blank thing. You need to go in and edit the web part. And when you are editing the web part, you click the configure button, and you can then pick from the charts that you have available. I'm just going to pick this pyramid chart for right now. Just to be real fast, we say OK. And there is the chart that we've got right there. So that's how easy it is to put the chart onto the page once you have the page, or once you have the chart. The trick is that you do have to build the chart first. And let's go take a quick look at how those charts are built. I've got some sample sales data that I've collected. And you'll notice this is in the modern experience. One thing with Infowise is it's a little difficult to get to Infowise from the modern experience directly out of the list. If we were in the classic SharePoint list, you've got the ribbon and you've got a button for that. But once you're in the modern view, you really have to go back to Site Contents, go to Infowise from there, and then select the correct list. Okay, well, we've got the correct list right there. Charts are under the Configure App part area on the page. So let's go ahead and look in there, and let's look at this pyramid chart that I just put in. And this is kind of how easy it can be to set up a chart. This is the data that we've got. I titled it Pyramid. Category X is the salesman. And with the salesman, I got to pick the colors for the salesman. So that's all simple to do. Excuse me. I wanted it to be measuring the sales. I wanted a sum of the sales. So I added that as a line. Display settings, this is the thing that you have to be careful with. You have to remember to change the chart type to pyramid. If you've looked at this at all, there are an awful lot of different chart types available to you here. And that's something we'll talk about in a moment. I wanted to show the legend. I wanted to show the access labels. I can change the color of the access labels. I can also change the title settings. I can include the title of the chart. I can make the font bold. I can add a shadow. And I can do all kinds of fancy things with the border and color settings. So there's really quite a bit of opportunity to make your chart look the way you want it to look. I'm just going to go back right now and back out of here. And let's go back to that page. Oh, sorry, don't pay any attention to that. This was site pages. Oh, sorry. Actually, what I'm going to do instead, I'm changing my mind. I'm going to go to this page right here. And on this page, I've got a whole bunch of samples of some of the different charts that you have. And these are some of the more popular charts that people would be using. And I'm pulling this mostly out of the same data, but I'm looking at different views of it. So here we have that pyramid chart that we just looked at a second ago. And then we've got a pie chart here. And on the pie chart, instead of the salesperson, I'm looking at the different regions. Now this chart here, I wanted to point this out. I did some extra stuff on this chart. It is showing in 3D. I did put a background and I put a color into the grid area, and I showed grid lines. So once again, this is really simple to do, and I'm going to go back in and just take a look at that one. Come on, sales data. I'm going to pop this over into the classic view so that we can do it a little quicker. And I believe that was sales by salesman. Yeah, okay, here we go. So you see I've changed the background color to make that nice light color, and the area background, the chart area, I've added that in. And then we've added in access colors to there and showing the X grid lines right there. So it's really easy to change these to the look that you want. Excuse me. That's something that I did. Sorry about that. Okay, so we've got your typical pyramid chart. We've got your typical pie chart. We've got your column chart right there. A funnel chart, which is kind of fun. Declining resources right there. Point chart, which everybody needs to use a point chart sooner or later. And then a simple spline chart as well. And this one, once again, I did the background color. A line chart, an area chart. And these are chart types that get used over and over and over. So these are things that are really reliable. You're going to be able to go in and work with them. Now, I will tell you, you will sometimes want to experiment a little bit with how you're displaying your data. And you really do need to have sufficient data to compare. I mean, this is just basic chart stuff. You want to make sure that you're looking at your data in a way that you're going to get meaningful images out of it. You can't just throw some data together and hope for the best. Now, once again, I want to go back here and, oops, sorry, clicking too fast. I'm not going to build a whole bunch of other charts today, but I want to show you once again the variety of charts that you have available to you. There's pretty good opportunity to show your data in a bunch of different ways and get some meaningful approach out of it. Another thing that I want to point out, and this is this page that we keep coming back to, this home page here, and I apologize for that message. I did something and I hadn't gone back and fixed it yet. Now, on this chart page, one of the other things that we've done is we've added in this filter. Now, if you haven't used filters, this is really cool. These filters can be used to dynamically sort the data that we've got showing in our graphs. So you'll see that's changing right there. Clear, everything goes back. Salesman, we just want Jones. Oops, Jones. There's Jones right there. So you have the ability, using the combination of the charts and graphs and the filters, to build some very, very dynamic dashboards that will be extremely useful to your end users. I think that you can start to see some of the great opportunities here. And I also want to show you, let's go real fast to this other site here. This is the site that we use for demos, and we've got a dynamic dashboard on this site here. And you will notice this is the modern experience page, and we've still got that same kind of dynamic filtering capability here. So this is, this will work on the modern experience. There it is, working right in front of you. If you choose to use the modern experience, you can still use this format. So I think that I think that it's pretty exciting myself. Now, I wanted to talk for just a moment about, well, I've already mentioned this. Charts and graphs, they will sometimes require that you do a little bit of experimenting to find the best way to represent your data. And honestly, data representation is a little bit of an art form. The more you do it, the better you get at it. But sometimes there's admittedly a little bit of trial and error. So I think that it's really important, when you're starting to think about how you're going to be displaying your information, the first thing that you think about is, what are your options? There are a lot of different types of charts and graphs available in the world. People come up with new ways of showing information all the time. We've got 30-ish available to us in Infowise, but do you know what those all are? I mean, do you know the difference between a spline and a line? Do you know the difference between a bar and a stacked bar, or a 100% stacked bar? Knowing what the differences are between these, and knowing the different ways that you'll be able to represent your information is really important. So I think that anybody who wants to be involved in showing off their information really needs to spend a little bit of time studying up on what the types of graphs that they can use are. It will not be wasted effort. I guarantee you will get a lot out of it as you go. Now let me go back to here. Oh, no, sorry. Go back to here. Go back to here. Sorry, that's where I was going for. So let's go back and take one of these things and just do a little bit of monkeying around with it. We've got this pie chart right here. I'm going to make a couple of quick changes on that. It'd probably be easier to do it this way. Open a new tab, and then we'll open the chart part from here so that we can go back and forth. And let's go down there. And we've got my pie chart. Oh, I think I called that sales by region. Okay. So we'll go in and edit this real fast. And let's change the background color to this nice blue here. And we'll change the area background color to a nice light pale green. I think just those two things at the moment. Update that. Go back in here. Let's refresh this page, and we should see our changes right there. So that's how fast it is to change things. So you really have the opportunity to do quite a bit of experimenting if you need to. It doesn't take long to change the look and move stuff around. So once again, I think you've got a lot of freedom to work with these things that you may not have been aware of. The charts feature, it's something that not a lot of people think about for some reason, but my take on creating SharePoint sites has always been and always will be that the reason you're creating the site is to share information with your users and make that information as easy for them to access and understand as possible. Creating visual representations of that information is one of the best ways to do that. It makes things easier for your users. So, I want to stress charts, something that you can work with, something that can provide a lot of benefit. Now, like I said, I'm not going to get super deep into creating things today. I'm not going to do any more fiddling with charts right now. I am going to be doing another session in April, which will be a Build It session. And I will be starting from scratch and building out all the different types of charts so you can see exactly how it's done and exactly which fields go where as you're building it out to get the most impactful information. That's something that's coming up. So if you want to get deeper into charts, that will be available to you. Let me pop back over here. Actually, while we're talking about visualizations, I know this is a little bit off topic because we're not talking about all kinds of visualizations. I'm officially referring just to charts today, but don't forget that other visualizations that you have available to you, things that can also add a lot of impact to your data. We do have indicators available in Infowise. We have status bars, we have KPIs, we have countdowns. We also have the ability to color code fields or lines based on conditions within those. in this project list. Some of you have seen this before. If a project has been initiated, it's yellow. If the project has been completed, it's green. That's pretty easy to see. Once again, the idea behind this, as behind everything else, is that you want to make the information easier to understand to your user. Get them into it as quick as you possibly can. Okay, so I'm going to pop out of here right now. Next steps. So the thing that we really want people to do with Infowise, if you're not already an Infowise user, really want you to go to the Infowise site and download the free trial. The best way to learn how to use Infowise is to use Infowise. You will surprise yourself when you find out how easy it is to create, how easy it is to make things in Infowise. The experience cannot be beat. Now, for those people who are already customers, or for those people who purchase Infowise, unlimited support is included with the license. Will, were you going to say something?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Sorry, okay. I was just making a comment. I can't, unfortunately, with the interface, I can't get into the question, so I'm sorry about that. No, you're good. Just, I'm on the interface, and I know you're going to do the drawing in a second, so
yes,
go ahead, Phil. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. Okay, also included with purchase, there is a 2-hour Kickstart training, and then there is more in-depth training available. So that's all stuff that'll happen. As I mentioned, I'm going to do a Build It session specifically around charts on April 18th. That'll be advertised on the website, and you will be able to see that and register for it. A couple of other events that we've got coming up relatively soon. We've got the show in DC in April. We'll come back on. What's the date in April for that show?
It's last week in April, so that's in DC. I think it kicks off on a Monday. It's just that last week. So the week of April 29.
Okay. And then the week of May 20th, we're going to be at the SharePoint conference in Las Vegas. Will's going to be in DC. I'm going to be in Las Vegas. Vladi's going to be everywhere. So those are some upcoming events. If you're going to be at those shows, please stop by, talk to us. We'll be happy to meet you, happy to talk to you. And what's next? If you want a product demo, if you're still new to the tool, and you're kind of interested in what you're seeing and you want to see more, you can request a demo from the website, or send us an email. The demo takes half hour, 45 minutes. There is a pre-recorded video of the demo that is on the website. It's in the blogs section. If you don't want to sit through me or Will talking at you, you can go and listen to the pre-recorded version of us talking at you instead. But we're happy to provide demonstrations of the tools. So, and now it's time for the giveaway. And what I want you to do, I want you to pick a number between 1 and 100 and enter it into the chat. And the first person who enters the number will win the prize. And once again, sorry, we're only people in the U.S. are eligible. I do apologize for that. But anybody? Okay, I got a couple of numbers there. Let's keep going. Keep going. Haven't hit the number yet. Haven't hit it yet. Not yet. If nobody gets it, we'll go for the person who's the closest. Okay. I got a 56, a 32, a 73, a 22, a 68, an 88, a 3, a 2, a 79, a 46, a 75, an 82, a 60, a 45, a 22, a 30, a 99. You know, guys, you can only answer once. Everybody gets to answer once, and then you get to stop. Okay. All right. So tell you what, the number was 47. And I think there was a 46 in here. Yeah. Eva at 46. Eva, you are the winner. So congratulations, Eva. What I'd like you to do is please send your size and your address in the private chat to the organizers, and we will catch that information and we'll get that sent out to you. But thank you everybody for playing along. Now, were there any other questions that we can add? I don't see a whole lot of questions here. I think everybody was being answered as they were going along. Okay, it looks pretty good. Well, I'll tell you, if there are no other questions, then I think we can end this session for today. There's a quick, can InfoPath template be easily migrated to Infowise? No, not easily. It really does need to be created. The two tools are they're not similar enough that it's an easy migration. InfoPath, yeah. So that's kind of the answer to that one. Any other questions that we can answer today? No? Okay. In that case, is there a hand that was up? Nope. Okay. Well, I think we might be done then for today. I want to thank everybody for attending. And as we said, this session will be up on YouTube sometime later today. Thank you all, and hopefully we will see you on another webinar, or we will see you at one of the shows, or we will see you using Infowise. Thank you all very much.